now we're moving on to the big, I don't know what I would call it, the big L issue now, logistics.
Big L, yeah.
Because that seems to have been the second buzzword now after postponement with the elections. And here we're going to be talking about security and logistics. The logistics part, the INEC chairman focused a great deal on today in his briefing, as we already talked about earlier on. But to help us with this discussion, let me start with our Abuja studios, where we're being joined by the former Commissioner of Police, our security expert, Mr. Lawrence Alobi. Thank you very much for being with us. Sitting with him, of course, is a regular face now with the verdict at this time, Mr. Mohammed Aleki, who is the National Commissioner of INEC. Thanks so much for being with us at this time. And in Lagos here, we have Mr. Alban Igwe, Vice President, Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, as well as Mr. Olushola Obasa,
I think he's
Large Population Registration and Document Security Consultant.
I was just trying to say that he's the Deputy President.
The Deputy President. My apologies. My sincere apologies. So, we've got a full house. I think in terms of logistics, Mr. Lekki, let me come to you in Abuja to kick this off. It does look as if we're a go on several subjects, according to the INEC chairman today. So, can you give us an update between when the chairman briefed at 3 o'clock and now, which is almost 8:30 Nigerian time? What is the situation as we speak?
Thank you very much for having me on. The situation is improving gradually as we speak. When I say gradually, in terms of our 6-point countdown to this Saturday, we expected that by today, which is more like midweek, that all the states in the Federation, all the INEC recs in their various states will have gone to the CBN with our stakeholders, CSOs, party agents, and take control of materials meant for each state, package these materials in their various racks and even polling units for LGAs in particular, and begin to move them from state office to local government. As I speak now, as I was coming in here a few minutes ago, I can tell you that not less than 10, 12 states have already concluded moving materials to local government area. And they have up until tomorrow, Thursday, to finish movement of materials to local government area. That would be remarkable. Because, you know, once you get to the local government area, you then now move to the rack and the rack to the PU on Friday. And then you go to the PU on Saturday morning. So we're moving very well. I can assure you that by tomorrow evening, which is actually Thursday, all the materials will be at the LGA level, because that is moving as we speak.
Okay, Mr. Lekki, can you also give us assurance about the smart card readers? Because I know the INEC chairman had said that you've achieved 100% configuration from yesterday's 95%. And one of the questions I put to our panel yesterday was if we will now see a smooth process at the polling units. You know, there will be no issue of the smart card reader is not working or there's no network. Have you looked into that, and are you assuring us tonight that that has been sorted out?
We have no issue with smart card reader. The smart card reader was going to be a form of an issue in the sense that we need to reconfigure the smart card reader for a different date, for a span of time, which starts from about 6 a.m. in the morning till about 8 p.m. when the smart card reader will shut down automatically. That reconfiguration was going to be an issue. But I can assure you and confirm, like the chairman may have told you this afternoon, that we have achieved 100% reconfiguration of all smart card readers in every state of the Federation. So they are ready to go on Saturday morning. And so they are going to be moving with material. Now, when we reconfigure, we also reconfigure for redundancy, as well as the backup. So those backup are also reconfigured. So in the case the smart card reader is not working in a particular location, the rack tech, which are new INEC staff, which are also within the racks, between the racks and the PU, are there at the rack level to immediately go injected into the PU to go and solve the problem with a particular smart card reader, either replace it or fix it. So all those readiness have been completed and we're ready to go.
Okay, could you just clear up something for us? Because we did hear the INEC chairman talk about how things will be better now with the NYSC and the core members. And he had mentioned mattresses to be taken from, you know, the camps where they are, and those will be brought in, you know, to help the people in terms of their sleeping arrangement. Could you expand that argument? Because we didn't know the sleeping arrangement was an issue, and whether you have enough time between today and tomorrow and Friday to get all the mattresses in, if that is the plan?
Ijoma, I must confess to you that the issue of comfort in our rack is one of our weakest links, in the sense that the racks are very, very transitional. You spend a few hours there, maybe 6 or 5 hours at the most, and within those 6 or 5 hours, we are doing refresher course, a refresher for the NYSC ad hoc staff who will be leaving between 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning to the PU. So there's hardly really any time to sleep. That's not an excuse not to make them comfortable. These are mostly schools environments. And what we provide there are the barest minimum, like light generators, and also for them to charge their phones and to recharge anything that needs to be recharged, and also to have some sleeping mats. We cannot provide mattresses, for sleeping in all the over 9,000 wards across the country. For one night, for about 6 or 5 hours before they move to the PU. And we know that it's an uncomfortable environment, but we pledge to everybody to see this, particularly among our youth who are already youth service, that's what they are, and they're making a great deal of sacrifice for Nigeria. And so for additional 4 or 5 hours of sacrifice of either sleeping on the mat overnight before they move to the PU, we ask them to please try to make
sorry, my question...
The mattresses can provide across...
Sorry, my question was about what the INEC chairman said at the briefing, which was that mattresses from camps will be brought in for them to sleep. Are you going to monitor that particular issue? That is what he said, not that you're having difficulty finding mats. He had said that mattresses will be brought from camps into those areas where they can sleep. And I'm asking you whether that has begun and if there's any update on that.
Well, I have no awareness that we're going to bring mattresses from camps to our rack to be used for a couple of hours and then return back to the NYSC. I cannot confirm and tell you whether or not mattresses are being brought, to the rack, as we speak. I have no information to that effect.
Now, but you can speak to the question of training, can't you? Because even in your opening statement that you did talk about where you were talking about the fact that they're only going to be there for about 5 or 6 hours and so on. And you said during that period, they are going to be going through some form of retraining. And that's going to be my own question at this point, which is that the retraining that is being talked about, is that for all those already trained? Or are there some people who were not able to get this training in the previous run-up to the now postponed elections who are now being taken through? Or is this just simply to brush up on what they were told last week so that it doesn't appear as if they forget?
Yes, Ladi, you are correct. This is a refresher training. It's a brush up. It's a one way of occupying ourselves while we're there at the rack, preparatory to taking our kits and materials and moving in the very early hours of morning and going to the PU. It is not for new people that have not been trained. They were trained. This lecture was supposed to have taken place last Saturday. It didn't happen, and now it's going to happen this Saturday. It's a refresher training for people who have already been trained. Just going over things, asking questions. If anybody has any issues in terms of any particular aspect, technical aspect of the election, they should raise it, and this will be clarified as they are there, as a way of just making sure everybody is on top of the information as they move to the PU. So it's a refresher, brushing up training for people who have already been formally trained before they come to the rack.
Thank you very much. I hope it doesn't appear as if we just rounded up on you, but we needed to update that to prepare the ground for the rest of the discussion so that we know exactly where we are and where we're taking off from. And in that respect, let me now come to Lagos, where Mr. Alban Igwe, the Deputy President of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, is with us. From everything you've heard, both from the press conference of earlier in the afternoon and from all the other things that have since taken place and what you're hearing now, do you think we're in better stead now? Are you more confident that the process will go ahead?
Thank you very much for that question. As a professional in logistics and transport, we have to be optimistic in the first place. If you become pessimistic, that's a minus already. The question of logistics and the challenges are global ones. And indeed, the World Bank has said what INEC just said before INEC said it, that Nigeria has been on a decline logistically from 2014 down. Let me just buttress that with some facts. In 2014, Nigeria was ranked 75 out of about 150 countries or 160 countries. 2016, we dropped to 90. As at the last count, they do this logistic performance index globally every 2 years. At the last count, 2018, we were 110. So from 75 to 110, that means we're actually going more and more backwards. So that is a little bit of what INEC felt. But I can tell you that the logistic problem is everywhere in Nigeria. If you go to the seaports, the airports, the roadways, there is a huge impact on logistics. So we're only trying to mitigate it a little bit as far as INEC is concerned, but it's still resident along the corridors.
But can we not do something about it, seeing that we know the elections do not suddenly happen? We know this every 4 years. So will you say, oh, logistics is everywhere, and so we should just expect that it will be like this?
Not really. I'm only trying to expound the matter for us to appreciate the logistics problem that is resident in Nigeria. Well, as an institute, we have begun doing something already. A few years ago, we have partnership with INEC. Actually, we did a training for INEC on election logistics before now. Because you remember that the previous regime also had a challenge with logistics. So after that complaint, we said, okay, now as an institute, we must have to make contribution to this nation. So we had a part with INEC. We began doing some training. But you know, we can't say they have graduated.
Is it still on? Or how long?
Yeah, it's the partnership. It's a partnership.
Of course, not if we have to postpone this. We still have graduated.